Traffic directors are Megan Rose and Tic Tantiwan-Gumpai. Network sales manager is Dan Stores. Network director is Kevin Shockey. Chief network engineer is Jason Gorodetzer. Senior vice president of the Altitude Radio Network is Dave Fleck.
You want a hard-working team? There it is right there.
This broadcast was a presentation of the National Hockey League and the Altitude Radio Network. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 Colorado Avalanche postgame coverage continues now with a special edition of Between the Pipes presented by Safeway. Live from Ballpoint inside Ball Arena, here's Alex Ryan-Emmy and Mark Springer.
Down the boards, Niels Lundqvist, who's played about 22 seconds tonight, throws the hit over for Manson, 12 seconds left. Manson trying to get away from Dadonov. Josh Manson in the corner. Manson cuts towards the net. Backhander is saved by Ottinger. A rebound for Trenton. 3 seconds to go. 2 seconds, 1. And that is it. Avs will lose game 3 by a final score of 4-1. But they can even up the series on Monday night when they host game 4. Our broadcast begins at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time with face-off at 7:30.
Avs fall in Game 3 of the second round of the Dallas Stars. This one at home by a final score of 4-1. Dallas scores 2 empty net goals in the third period to beat the Avs. This thing was 1-0 Dallas after 1. Mikko Rantanen right on the doorstep after a spectacular solo effort from Nathan MacKinnon tied this thing up at 1. Tyler Seguin 5 minutes after that took the 2-1 lead, and that ends up being the game winner from Ball Arena. Dallas takes a 2-1 series lead. Game 4 will be Monday night at Ball Arena, 7:30 p.m. puck drop, 6:30 p.m. pregame show right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 as we welcome you into Between the Pipes presented by Safeway. I'm your host, Alex Ryan-Emmy. You guys know me better as Raj, joined by Jordan Berg behind the glass. And as always, my partner, my co-host, he's the radio machine, Mark Springer. Spring for and I'm going to steal this from the great Connor McGahey, a deboring game tonight. I fear that we have a deboring reaction to what I see a lot of Avs fans losing their mind at as a Game 3 loss that you're throwing away the season again. Here's another lost season of Nathan MacKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, and Cale Makar. The Fire Bednar tweets are out of there. Although I will go out. I'll go at Bedsy a little bit tonight. I do think he got outcoached. I think there were some decisions that he made tonight that may have cost his team the game. If you just look at this game as a whole, Dallas pinned it down. They went into a trap, a 1-2-2 trap. It was not a 1-3-1. They went into a 1-2-2, clogged up the neutral zone, forced you to chip pucks and go in and get possession, go low to high. And what they were doing in that the first 2 periods is that they were taking away, like they were feigning that they were covering the middle of the zone, and then they were taking away the low to high pass. And if you pair that up with the Avs just simply not getting to the net front in the third, not handling pucks in the first and the second, it comes down to a couple of plays tonight. And you give up 2 goals and you lose the game. I can't look at this and lose my mind at it. I look at it and go, Dallas played a really good defensive game and you didn't find a way to bury. Maybe there's 1 goal that you want back from Georgiev in the first period on the Stankoven goal, but he makes 2 saves prior to that. I can't look at this game outside of like sometimes you lose a hockey game like that in the playoffs.
Yeah, no. I was gonna go. This is gonna be a boring Between the Pipes for a boring game. I like the deboring. Like let's add on to it. Let's spice it up. Good job, Connor McGahey. And that's where I love doing the show with you, Raj. You can read and give me the exact terminology for the defensive formations that a team like the Dallas Stars were using. And look, they are the 1 seed in the Western Conference for a reason. And we've always looked at a team like Dallas, a team like Vegas, even a team like Winnipeg, even that the Avs just faced. And Winnipeg was not able to do this at all, even though they have personnel that can play this way. You know, these teams in the Western Conference that I mentioned can play this gummy, defensive leaning, just don't let them beat you and take advantage of the handful of offensive opportunities that you get if you play the solid defense where you are marking your men, you are in the position you are supposed to be in, and then you capitalize on just 2 chances is all you need. One of them is a little bit of a mistake from the Avs. There are multiple opportunities. I think there were some skaters out there for an extended period of time, but opportunities to clear a puck. Georgiev makes a couple of nice initial saves. Georgiev, he looked great in net tonight.
Georgie was good enough to win the hockey game. Again, the first one you can look at, it beats him in the 6 hole, and you go, yeah, I want that save back. But if you look 5-7 seconds before that, he makes back-to-back saves. So, he makes the first, he makes the second, and at some point you got to look at him and go, you can't expect him to make 3, 4, 5 in a row. So I really can't put anything on Georgie tonight. He was good enough to win the game. You just didn't. You lost a 2-1 hockey game. That's what this was tonight. You didn't find a way to score. You beat Ottinger twice. One of them, you had a player on the goal line ready to bury a puck. And then the other one, it took 2 Dallas Stars players coming in at the same time to converge on a puck that was on the goal line to save it. Outside of that, the closest you got was a Nichushkin hit post on a 2-on-1 in the second period. You just didn't create enough.
Sean Walker had a wrist shot from the point in the third period that just kind of tipped past Ottinger. It was close to sneaking in. But again, that's all that was, those were the types of looks the Avs were able to get because, look, Dallas was just sound defensively. Sometimes the other team executes their game plan at a high level. Sometimes one of the best offensive teams in the NHL won't be able to beat that defense. If you're Pete DeBoer and the Dallas Stars, you're going to look at this film with your team tomorrow, and you're going to be high-fiving and shaking hands.
Yeah, they should be happy with it.
Absolutely. They executed their game plan tonight. They're the 1 seed. Look, here, we are back on serve, okay? It is 2-1. We are back. The break of serve is gone. It is now 2-1. So, any of this sky is falling. Look, tip of my cap to the defense the Stars played tonight, but it is difficult to sustain that level of discipline defensively for several periods. So can they sustain it for the next 3 periods in Game 4? Can they sustain it for the following 3 periods in Game 5? The Avs were able to score 4 in Game 1, 3 in the third period in Game 2. I do think eventually the Avs
did have to come back from 3-0 and 4-0 down those games. So if you're looking at some points of panic, I suppose you can do that. You can look at this series and go, the Avs have been trailing for 95% of the series.
Well, look, it reminded me of the way the Minnesota Timberwolves played defense on the Denver Nuggets in Game 2. And it looked like the Nuggets weren't going to be able to break that defense until they destroyed it last night. So we'll see. We'll see how this continues.
History has told you that a Pete DeBoer team can do this over the course of a series against a Jared Bednar team. What history also tells you is that DeBoer's style can't win a cup. Like, they can get there, but you can't sustain it for the entirety of a playoff run. But he has shown now 2.5 times now, right? Because Dallas now has 2 wins here. 2.5 times that he can beat a Bednar coached team like this. It's frustrating to watch. I don't think Colorado was terrible tonight. I just don't think that despite outshooting Dallas the entire game, they didn't have many grade A's, right? Like, there wasn't a lot of true chance generation tonight. And I don't think that you got in front of the netminder enough. And if I do have to go in on Bednar tonight, you made a mistake. And it was a pretty glaring mistake. There were 2 of them tonight. Mikko Rantanen was terrible. He was god-awful tonight. That's the one thing I'll get upset about, is that Rantanen was worthless tonight. Pucks were blowing up his stick. He was missing passes left and right. I don't think he was engaged. The only time that he was worthwhile this evening was the one shift that he scored on because he went to the cage, right? That's where he needs to go when he doesn't have all of his skills at his disposal, right? Like, when pucks are blowing up your stick, and it happened on back-to-back power plays in the first period. When the Avs had their best legs and their best chances, there were multiple times on those power plays early in the game where pucks came to Mikko, they blew him up on his backhand, and then Dallas clears. He was bad tonight. Flat out bad. And the other decision, and for me, should move him down the lineup if it's very clear that he doesn't have it. That's my one thing against Bednar tonight. My second one, You only played Val Nichushkin with Nate and Mikko for 1 minute and 42 seconds tonight. Do you know what happened on one of those shifts? There were 2 shifts. They played 1 minute and 42 seconds together tonight. They scored on one of those. And if you look at the middle stat, Nichushkin Parise line at a course, right? I'm going to give you like a nose picker stat here. Corsi for percentage, which is 5-on-5 shots for, shots against. They were minus 27, which was the worst line that the Avalanche had tonight at 5-on-5. And you kept them together for the entire game when everything else this season or this playoff run has shown. Val should have been on the top line with Nate and Mikko the whole game. If you're not generating chances, which they didn't the whole game, something need to change. And I didn't understand it tonight. I thought those were 2 decisions that he made that it baffled me.
Well, they moved Val off of the top line in the third period of game 2, and it worked. Granted, I didn't think that was a necessary decision, and we talked about it after game 2. It was not. Because Val has scored, well, the streak ends now. He will not set the record for scoring in all 8 of these first 8 playoff games. He will finish at 7, tied with a couple other players. So it ends tonight. So it wasn't a matter of Nichushkin wasn't playing well. It was they were down 4-0, and those are your 3 best skaters, but they hadn't scored. So Bednar tried something else. He moved Nichushkin down, who was probably the most movable. You know, Rantanen plays best with McKinnon. So he moved Nichushkin down, and they got back in the game. They made it a 4-3 game. And
Lehkonen wasn't good tonight either.
And he stuck with it. He stuck with Nichushkin off the top line tonight. Maybe that's just because of the success of the third period. Granted, it was it was a 4th-line goal. It was, it was Trenin, Duhaime, Cogliano combining for 1. It was Yoel Kiviranta on another. So it's not like the move of and when Nichushkin scores the empty net goal, with Georgiev pulled, he's back out there with the top unit because you have your 6 best. You have your 6 best skaters out there. So it's not like that that moving of Nichushkin really helped. I mean, from a score standpoint, it did, but when you actually look at it,
it was a mistake to
factor in. Yeah, I would be a proponent of keeping those 3 together. We've seen Lehkonen play on that top line a lot, though. I mean, Lehkonen and Rantanen, the 2 Finns, gel well together. Did Mikko play great tonight? No. We talked all season long about Mikko. He put up great numbers, but if you watched him, you would still see a little something left to be desired. And you would have even seen that in the Winnipeg series, even when the Avs were dominating, despite Mikko having, 6-7 assists going into game 5. And then he got those 2 goals in game 5. And he scores tonight. And he has a sick little sauce pass to McKinnon, the play you referenced that almost went 5-hole through Ottinger. And look, this is how sound the Stars were. I mean, it was great. It was interesting symmetry. I know it sounds like I'm praising the Stars here, but guess what? I am sick of this.
I mean, you should. They played a good game.
Sometimes that happens.
Sometimes the 1 seed in the West plays a good game and they win a hockey game.
And to see those 2 Stars players, bam, sticks right there on Ottinger's butt to keep that puck out. Like they were ready. Like they were positionally sound tonight. Give credit to them.
Yeah, I can't lose my mind about losing this game because sometimes you lose hockey games like that. There are a couple of things that I had issue with. I thought that the decision to keep Nichushkin off the top line was a mistake. And I think that it directly impacted Rantanen's ability to get in on the game. I don't think that Lehkonen or Rantanen had particularly strong games, so when both of those guys aren't going, something had to give. And again, 1 minute and 42 seconds of time on ice together for Nichushkin, McKinnon, and Rantanen, and they were arguably the best line that the Avs they were the best line that the Avs had tonight with that small sample size. And I think you should have stayed with it. I thought it was a mistake not to go with it, especially in a game where It wasn't going to be the third or the fourth line that got you back into this thing. It wasn't going to be a balanced scoring attack that got you tied or even in this game. This was one of the ones that when Dallas sits back and they wait for you to come at them, and you have to get through 2 to 3 layers of shot blocks. Again, 24 block shots for Dallas this evening. You have to do that after you gain zone entry on a 1-2-2. Not easy. You've already expended a ton of energy. You know who's not going to score that goal tonight? It's not going to be Yoel Kiviranta. It's not going to be Zach Parise. It's not going to be Andrew Cogliano. It would have been tonight if you had kept your horses on the same line. This doesn't mean that they're going to lose the series. They could very well come back and win on Monday, and then you got to go steal one in Dallas in a 3-game series, and they can certainly do that. You didn't get hammered tonight. You lost. I know it's 4-1. You lost a 2-1 hockey game, and it came down to an inch. It came down to Ryan Suter getting his stick on the puck before it crossed the goal line, and Georgiev getting 85% of a puck from Logan Stankoven and not 100% of it. That's the difference. That was it.
And a perfectly executed 3-on-2 rush from the Dallas Stars that was, with Cogliano just trailing to make it just short of a true 3-on-3. That cross-ice pass from Dadonov to Seguin, like Dadonov had a stick around him. There was a skater in the middle who was manned. On the far side was Seguin, and Cogliano was a half step away from getting his stick on that pass, but Dadonov made a perfect pass. And Georgiev made the perfect push to try to save that, but it was too well executed from Dallas. That's all it took. That's all it took was one perfectly executed rush, capitalized on good defense to win the game from Dallas. It was a boring game. It was a very boring game, but sometimes in hockey, you can win with that style, even against an elite offense.
If you can find a way to get Drouin back, maybe a lot of this line balancing figures itself out, right? Like you throw Drouin up on the top line, and Nichushkin plays with Lehkonen and Middlestat on the second line. Like maybe that's the way that you do this. Again, Avs lose 4-1 in game 3 of the second round to Dallas. Down 2-1, they lose home ice advantage, which they had taken from Dallas just a few days ago. They'll have a chance to come back and tie that thing up at 2 games apiece on Monday. Let's head on out to the phone lines. Brian's been waiting patiently on hold. What's up? You're live on 92.5.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Well, how are you, man? What you got?
A little frustrated. I appreciate you. Obviously, have a lot of knowledge about hockey. Just a few points about both Dallas and the Avs. I grew up in Minnesota, played a lot of hockey, and to me, it just seems like Dallas plays good old-fashioned hockey. They forecheck, they backcheck better, they crash the net, they're looking for rebounds, they shoot when there's an opening. They look for the perfect pass. They have a highly effective 3-on-2, which one of you guys mentioned, and they win more faceoffs. I just feel like they had less shots and scoring chances, but they were of higher quality, and the Avs had way too many turnovers. I mean, any thoughts on that?
I just think in general that in the playoffs, everything gets amplified and magnified. It's put under a microscope so much more so. Like there were elements of tonight's game that felt like a regular season game, but sometimes that can happen in the playoffs. In a 7-game series, you'll have different varieties of games. The Avs were able to crack the Stars defense, mostly in the back half of the last 2 games. I'd love to see him get the first goal. You'd love to see him get the first goal.
You were good enough to get the first one tonight. The power play was atrocious, man. And I thought that it started, again, I don't want to pile on Mikko for having a bad game, but it started with Rantanen not being able to handle a puck, and Makar couldn't handle a crisp pass at the beginning of the first power play as well. But you earned those chances, as we heard Coach say in his post-game presser. In terms of the high-danger chances for and against today in the game, Colorado outchanced Dallas in high danger situations 14-10 this evening. At 5-on-5, Colorado had 12 high danger chances. Dallas had 7. So the idea of Dallas is waiting for like the perfect time to shoot and then taking advantage of it, I don't know if that was necessarily the case tonight. I don't think Colorado did enough with their puck possession this evening to get into high danger scoring opportunities. There were a lot of low calorie shots, low calorie plays where Ottinger was not screened enough. They were better in front of him in the first period than they were in the third period. I thought that they lost a little bit of go, a little get up in the third period, and that's what cost them the hockey game. It was the power play failing to score in the first, but I don't think that like Dallas took so much advantage of their big time scoring opportunities tonight because there really weren't that many of them.
It's just that opportunities will present themselves for any NHL team. Certainly the 1 seed in the West, even though it wasn't this awe-inspiring offensive performance, when you're playing defense, when you're playing solid, boom, one puck will bounce here, opportunity. Can you take advantage of it? And they did.
I mean, they did to a certain point. Like Sam Steele didn't take advantage of his.
All they needed was two. When you play that, when you play that solid of defense, all they needed was 2 tonight. That's all they needed was 2. You know, this idea that the Avs are going to dominate every single game. There's this expectation that they're going to go 16-0. Okay, Dallas played well tonight. Series is not over. That's how I feel.
Most people think it's a 7-game series. I had Colorado in 6, which is a little tougher now. Like now you got to win 3 straight to go in 6. But
Avs shots on goal 29-23. Okay, was it an amazing 29?
No.
Hits 38-21. I
split the faceoff dot 50-50.
I keep hearing they were terrible in the dot. It's 50-50.
You were actually in the lead on the dot for the majority of the game, and Dallas came back a little bit in the third. A little bit.
You know, giveaways. Avs 12, Stars 5.
The
Avs were, and there's no doubt they were a little sloppy tonight.
Yeah, like Lehkonen and Rantanen were turnover machines tonight.
I told you before the show, like I would grade this Avs performance as like somewhere in the B range.
Yeah, it's a B-. B- and you had a chance to tie the game.
Everyone's gonna be so. It's a B.
Yeah.
People are out there. It was a D.
No, it was not a D. It wasn't.
But, you needed an A tonight. You needed an A because of how well Dallas played defensively.
Avs fall 4-1 with 2 empty netters in Game 3. It's Between the Pipes presented by Safeway. Tomorrow, fellas, is Mother's Day. You can save big this Mother's Day at Safeway. Celebrate Mom with fresh cut flowers and chocolate-dipped strawberries. They'll have them in the morning if you've forgotten by now. Shop in store or on the Safeway app to discover great deals. Make sure you do not forget that is tomorrow morning, fellas. Wake her up with some French toast. I was told a very, very... a sneaky play today by one of like my best man. His wife is about to give birth in like a month and a half, and we've got a group chat with a bunch of the other old hockey guys, and one of them told Killer, who's about to have a kid, make sure you get your pregnant wife Mother's Day cards and flowers. So I'm gonna pass that along to all of our friends who are driving home, possibly with their wives or fiancés or girlfriends, who are about to give birth to a kid that. Just because the kid isn't here doesn't make her not a mother. So get out, get there, get flowers, get cookies, get brunch stuff. We'll take a quick timeout, continue breaking down this loss on the other side. To Alex Ryan-Emi and Mark Springer on Altitude.
Nuggets and T-Wolves, Avs and Stars, Denver Sports Talk, Altitude Sports Radio, 92.5. The Altitude Authentics team store is the place to go for the best selection of Colorado Avalanche gear.
One-timer from Dave. He scores! It's a taser from Taser!
From hats and T-shirts to your favorite players' jerseys and more, Authentics has the best gear at the best prices.
Saved by Georgiev! That's as good as a glove save gets.
Can't get to Ball Arena? Check out AltitudeAuthentics.com for 24-hour shopping. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 brings you Colorado Avalanche Stanley Cup playoff hockey.
Hey, Colorado, it's Brett Kane. You've got all kinds of playoff action this weekend on Altitude Sports Radio and the Altitude Sports Radio app. Coming up Monday, we're taking a deep dive into Nuggets and T-Wolves and Avalanche Stars, plus everything else from the sports weekend. It's Moshe Lombardi and Kane. Monday. See you then.
Wake up with Brett Kane at 6 a.m. Then it's Moshe Lombardi and Kane at 7. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Wednesday, it's the Avs and Stars Game 5.
Keep playing, boys!
keep playing.
And you're invited to the Altitude Sports Radio viewing party at Hofbrau Bar and Grill in Westminster. Berto will be broadcasting live. We'll have great prizes, including autographed Avs gear. Then, after the game, stay for the live broadcast of Between the Pipes with Raj and Spring. The party starts Wednesday at 5:30 at Hofbrau Bar and Grill in Westminster. Brought to you by Templeton Fortitude Bourbon and Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
You know, despite everything the Fed has been trying, we are still feeling the effects of inflation. I know you are as well. Filling up your car, grocery shopping, home repairs, everything is more expensive these days, and most of you are paying these bills with a credit card, and credit card debt is at an all-time high as a result. Now, if you're a homeowner, there is a path out. You need to call my friends at American Financing. They can put together a plan to pay off that high-interest credit card debt and create meaningful savings for you every month. They are saving people, just like you and me, an average of $854 a month and closing in as fast as 10 days. Don't wait. Get yourself into a better position. Call their salary-based mortgage consultants today. It costs nothing to get started, and if you start today, you could delay 2 mortgage payments, giving you greater savings up front. Guys, this is a great financial move. Call American Financing at 303-695-7000, 303-695-7000, AmericanFinancing.net.
NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
There is a reason so many homeowners across the Front Range continue putting their trust in Plumbline Services. For 25 years and counting, Plumbline has been here, partnering with great brands like Carrier to make our lives easier. With dedicated service from Castle Rock to Fort Collins and plumb crazy pricing on plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical, and drain cleaning, Plumbline Services is here for you. Plumbline and Carrier. Turn to the experts. Schedule your service online at plumblineservices.com. Plumbline Services. Service at home, servants at heart.
More Denver sports talk coming up.
I don't like Belichick's face.
Update your appliances today and save big at Mountain High Appliances Clearance Center. I'm Brad Barnett, president of Mountain High Appliance. Get unbelievable prices on refrigerators, dishwashers, washers and dryers, ranges, and more on popular brands from KitchenAid, JennAir, Bosch, Sub-Zero Wolf, and many more. Whether you're looking for new, in a box, discontinued, or scratch and dent, our Clearance Center has it all. Visit us today in Denver or online at mountainhighappliance.com.
Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store.
Thank you.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-330-2929. That's 800-330-2929. 800-330-2929.
Colorado Avalanche Hockey. This is a special edition of Between the Pipes, presented by Safeway. Live from Ballpoint inside Ball Arena, here's Alex Ryanemi and Mark Springer.
All right. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5, Between the Pipes, presented by Safeway here. Altitude Sports Radio. Your home for Avalanche hockey. Alex Ryanemi alongside Mark Springer. Avs fall 4-1 with 2 empty netters at home. Down 2-1 now in the second round series against the Dallas Stars. We do have a start time for Game 4 on Monday night. That is 7:30 p.m., a 6:30 p.m. pregame show with Mark Bertinoli. Avalanche Hockey and the Altitude Radio Network is brought to you by Mountain High Appliance. Visit the Clearance Center for new discounted or dented appliances up to 60% off. That's at mountainhighappliance.com. Mark Springer, we're going to talk a little bit more about Mikko Rantanen, but this tweet coming in from ESPN's and our old friend here in Denver, Ryan S. Clark. Peter DeBoer on how the Stars played in Game 3. And I think this should, for those of you who want to jump off a cliff with the Avs right now and thought that the Avs were horrible tonight, this should make you feel a lot better about the Avs' chances moving forward, particularly in Game 2 at home. Sorry, Game 4 at home. Pete DeBoer says, I don't think a coach has ever seen a perfect game, but this was as close to a perfect road game as you can play in my mind. So, if we agree to cut the difference between Mark Springer's optimistic B grade on the Avs, and most of you who are texting in and tweeting saying that the Avs played a C or a C plus game, and we bring that to a B minus, which is what I have been saying for the entire show. Your B minus game, where you didn't really have it today, and Mikko Rantanen was not good, and Artturi Lehkonen was not good. Your B minus game was quite literally an inch away from sending this game to overtime when the number 1 seed in the Western Conference played their damn near perfect hockey game. That should make you really confident going into game 4. Really confident.
Yeah, is this sustainable from Dallas?
I don't think so.
There are ebbs and flows. This was probably the worst the Avs have played, but keep in mind they had to come back in their first 2 games, so they really upped their level in the third period, second period, early third in game 1, third of game 2. So Dallas is just going to sustain A+ hockey for
it's tough to do.
The next couple games. I told you the Stars are going to be high-fiving. They should. Like, this is Avalanche radio, okay? You want us to kill the Avs.
I'm actually
over on Stars radio, they are saying what a perfectly executed game plan from the Dallas Stars tonight. But Raj, you're great point, and you're completely right. The Avs B- game was one fluke bounce away from sending this game to overtime against the team, the 1 seed in the West, the best road team in the regular season this season, from sending that team playing their A+ game to overtime. You were just one stupid little bounce away.
It should make you feel really good about the loss. And I don't want to be that guy of like, oh, silver linings. But listen, I told you the issues that I had tonight. I thought that Bednar playing Rantanen on the top line when it was very clear that he didn't have it tonight, and that's not as big of an issue for me as moving Nichushkin away the entire game from Nathan MacKinnon. Again, just 1 minute and 42 seconds of 5-on-5 time with Rantanen, MacKinnon, and Nichushkin on the ice together, and they happened to score within those 1 minute and 42 seconds. I thought that was a miss. Outside of that, I look at this and I go, sometimes you lose hockey games because there's bounces and you just don't have it. Like, if the power play if it resembles 20% of what the power play normally looks like, you probably pot one of those in the first period, and instead of being down 1-0 in a first period that you dominated, you go into the locker room at the very worst tied at 1. We're talking about a different game. DeBoer coming out and saying that you played a perfect game, damn near an A+ game, and the Avs being that close. Do not let the 4-1 score take away from what this really was, which is a 2-1 hockey game. It should make you really, really excited about what they can do on Monday in terms of tying this thing up. Again, everyone thinks this is a 6 or a 7 game series. And in order for it to get there, you got to think Colorado's got to have game 4 on Monday night.
With Mikko Rantanen, we said it. I agree. It wasn't great tonight, despite a couple positive things that he said. Or that he did tonight. He wasn't great, and as I said, all season long, I even though Mikko's numbers were good, I'd watch him. I'd want more. Same in the Jets series. Jonathan Drouin coming back. You could put him on the top line with Nichushkin and MacKinnon. You still need Rantanen to perform on the second line. Still a damn good player. I expect Mikko to stay on the top line. I would be shocked if Jared Bednar doesn't stand by his guy. He's a very good player. The way that I'm reading some of these texts about Mikko Rantanen tonight, it's as if you guys want him healthy.
I see a lot of people being like, send him on the 4th line. Like, no, that's not the answer.
Hell out of here. You are not healthy scratching Mikko Rantanen.
You know what the answer was, man? The answer was putting Nichushkin on the line with him. Because then
I'm with you on that.
Mikko doesn't have to be the first guy in on the puck there. He doesn't have to be driving the play with his feet. He can then be your third option, right? Like, it's not to say that Mikko can't do that. When he is utilized at his best is when he has a physical force with him, a puck driving force with him, so physical force, Val Nichushkin, or when healthy, Gabriel Landeskog, a puck-driving force, Nathan MacKinnon, where he can then do what he is amazing at, which is both shooting the puck and distributing the puck on the rush. Like, that is when Mikko Rantanen is a top 10 elite hockey player in the world. But when, I hate to say this, when he's asked to do a little bit more than that, when he doesn't have his A game, it looks bad. It looks disengaged, right? I thought that was a mistake today. Does that mean he needs to be healthied or sent to the fourth line? Get out of town. You don't. This is a guy that has one of the best.
For the record, no one has said healthy Mikko, but the way
yes.
I'm reading, like, these texts
it's a ridiculous
are
thought process.
So angry towards Mikko that you may as well be saying healthy him.
I don't think Bednar would make the same decision coming up on Monday's game. If Dallas plays a similar style game, I think you can expect to see Nichushkin, MacKinnon, and Rantanen on a line together for the majority of the game. However, Jonathan Drouin possibly being back for game 4 does throw something else into this.
I do think Mikko has always played in his Avs career his best with MacKinnon. I agree with you. I mean, I'm 100% with you. I would move Nichushkin back up there. I think the size and his physicality helps him out. It's funny, Mikko had good numbers this season. Nichushkin missed some time, but in my mind, I've kind of moved Nichushkin into that second best Avs forward role. And it's really not it's somewhat of a knock on Mikko, but it's also high praise for Valeri Nichushkin, who I thought when available has been tremendous this season, and he was great last season.
He was good tonight.
You missed him so much in the Kraken series. We talk about that time and time again. I expect Mikko to stay on the top line. I'm with you. I would move Nichushkin back up. The 720-934 texting in. Bednar screwed up. Lucky was not great. Neither was Makar. Should have switched up lines in the third. Cale Makar, a -2 tonight. MacKinnon -2, Lehkonen -2.
They were on the ice for the empty net goals against.
Okay, that's well, but no, I believe Makar and Taves were the two defensemen. I know Taves was out there on the first Stars goal, because I remember him having an opportunity to move a puck, get it up the boards, get it out of the zone or something. Makar and Taves didn't have their best game, but Makar's had a tremendous playoffs.
Again, if you look at Dallas playing A+ hockey tonight, and you tell me that Rantanen, Lehkonen, Makar, and Taves were all either not great or meh, and you essentially lost a 2-1 hockey game, I look at that and I go, you were probably good enough to win if you got the right bounce. Yeah, that first Stankoven goal, you have an opportunity to get the puck out, right? The puck is won by Nathan MacKinnon in the corner with help from Zach Parise. It blows up Taves' stick. Stankoven gets underneath him in between the puck and the net, when I'm talking about Taves, and snaps a quick shot through the 6-hole on the blocker side of Georgiev.
Taves tries to clear that puck out with the backhand, and he either whiffs on it,
it
or
blows
it
his backhand
bounces on him. Yeah,
that goal you can probably look at.
I'm looking at it from the reverse angle. Taves, before that, loses a puck behind the net. Taves had some opportunities there to make some defensive plays. Again, I don't put that goal on Georgiev. He makes a couple initial saves, but you got your best D pair out there. They got beat. So the Avs' best D, there's Nichushkin. Yeah, these are the top guys. Their top guys got beat. It's Nichushkin, Parise. It's a good line. They got beat. Okay, they got beat on one play. It's fine. They got beat in a sequence.
You guys can join us for Game 5, because we're guaranteed for a Game 5 viewing party on Wednesday night at Hofbrau in Westminster. We're going to start our network broadcast at 5:30 p.m. Spring and I will be there early on, hanging out with Berto. We'll be on our extended pregame show starting at 5. Puck drops at 6 p.m. We're going to be giving away great prizes the entire night. Signed Avs gear, signed photos and jerseys and sticks. We'll have all of it there for you guys. Again, Hofbrau in in Westminster. We'll also be live for Between the Pipes up there, thanks to our friends at Templeton Fortitude Berman. We will see you at Hofbrau on Wednesday night. Avs fall 4-3. We will take our final timeout. We'll continue breaking this thing down on the other side, tell you what else happened in the NHL, and get you some picks winners for Sunday's playoff games on Bet the Pipes.
Wednesday, it's the Avs and Stars Game 5.
Keep playing, boys, keep playing.
And you're invited to the Altitude Sports Radio viewing party at Hofbrau Bar and Grill in Westminster. Verdo will be broadcasting live. We'll have great prizes, including autographed Avs gear. Then, after the game, stay for the live broadcast of Between the Pipes with Raj and Spring. The party starts Wednesday at 5:30 at Hofbrau Bar and Grill in Westminster. Your neighborhood pub and a whole lot more. Brought to you by Templeton Fortitude Bourbon and Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Kapler Mechanical wants to know, are you ready to save $1,800 a year by making the switch to whole home electrification? Kapler Mechanical is your one-stop shop for heat pump air conditioners, water heaters, electric vehicle charging right there in your garage, battery backups, and all the way to solar. Tax credits and rebates are available. Kapler Mechanical, family owned and operated, and your one-stop shop for whole home electrification. Visit KaplerMechanical.com.
This is Ryan Kapler. That's Kappler Mechanical.com.
Hey, Colorado. At Phil Long Ford of Denver's Commercial Vehicle Center, we take your business further. With Colorado's largest selection of work-ready trucks, flatbeds, service bodies, cargo vans, and passenger vans, our commercial experts are here to help you every step of the way. We'll find the perfect vehicle for all your business needs. That's why Colorado businesses drive Phil Long Ford of Denver. Go online at phillongdenver.com or come see us at 7977 West Tufts off Wadsworth, just south of Hampton.
The Altitude Authentics team store is the place to go for the best selection of Colorado Avalanche gear.
One-timer from Dave. He scores! It's a taser from Taser!
From hats and t-shirts to your favorite players' jerseys and more, Authentics has the best gear at the best prices.
Saved by Georgiev! That's as good as a glove save gets.
Can't get to Ball Arena? Check out AltitudeAuthentics.com for 24-hour shopping.
Sometimes men feel angry or overwhelmed. So at mantherapy.org, men can deal with life's issues using tools like Aroman Therapy. Dim the lights, make yourself comfortable, and heat up some essential oils like the ones that emanate from a skillet of sizzling bacon. Now, take a deep breath. Mantherapy.org. Therapy the way a man does it.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Kregman and Lindahl.
You better get used to it.
Coming right back.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Colorado Colorado Avalanche Hockey. This is a special edition of Between the Pipes, presented by Safeway. Live from Ballpoint inside Ball Arena, here's Alex Ryanemi and Mark Springer.
Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 Between the Pipes, presented by Safeway. Raj alongside Mark Springer, Jordan Berg producing the heck out of the program late on a Saturday night as we wrap this thing up. Avs fall 4-1 with 2 empty netters in Game 3 to the Dallas Stars. Outplayed them on the offensive side of the game tonight. Dallas outplayed Colorado on the defensive side. You didn't quite get the bounce that you needed, and you lose a hockey game. 2 empty netters at the end go by the wayside, but have a chance to come back on Monday night, 7:30 p.m. puck drop from Ball Arena. I was telling Spring in the break, I'm willing to put a lot on the Avs winning Monday night. Like, I don't think there's a world in which this goes back to Dallas down 3-1. Colorado, the team is not panicking in that room. Most of the guys, if you saw the post-game reactions, and D-Max got it all up over his Twitter, and our friends at Guerrilla Sports and Altitude TV's got him on socials. If you haven't seen him, you heard him on the post-game show here with Mark Bertinoli. No one in that room is panicking. All you heard was Nate saying, didn't get the bounces, weren't good enough in the third, but no, we're not frustrated. No, we're fine. Cogliano said it came down to a couple of bounces, and Jake Ottinger playing well tonight, and Dallas defending well. When this team is as calm and as poised as they were in a loss tonight, which I know, like, you saw Nichushkin break his stick at the end of the game, but that's, way she goes. I'm okay with that every once in a while from a player. I'm not okay with it from a goaltender when he lets in a lot of goals, but someone scores an empty net goal and you've got a post right there that you want to ring a $400 stick off of because you're a pro hockey player and you don't pay for them, be my guest. I don't really care. It's better than the alternative of doing something in the room or punching the glass and breaking your hand. Doesn't hurt anyone. I expect this team, with how poised they were in post game, they're going to win in regulation on Monday.
Yeah, you asked me during the break, do you have any final thoughts? I said, no, I don't have any final thoughts. I'm sick of talking about this game, but here I go. I'll go back to something I said in the first segment, and I tweeted this too. This game kind of reminded me as I thought about it. Now it's different, but I see similarities. Obviously, sport's different. To Nuggets-Wolves Game 2. The Wolves just played some excellent defense in Game 2. Did the Nuggets have it in that game? Absolutely not, but credit to the Wolves. That was some hounding defense. I thought Dallas, and Pete DeBoer said as much. They played their A-plus game, and when they're playing like that, it really is predicated on defense. They're going to look at the film, and they're going to be praising their guys for being positionally sound. But we saw how the Nuggets responded. And my lean, for sure, I won't say expectation, but my lean is that the Avs will respond as well. Now, that Wolves defensive performance yielded a 26-point victory. That is not the equivalent of what was really a 1-goal victory tonight. Those were the two empty net goals. Don't matter. That's where hockey's weird. 2 empty net goals. Those are just, okay, now you're dead. They lost 2-1, essentially. So it wasn't losing by 26. You lose by 1. This series is far from over.
Yeah, it's funny. I think if you were to poll most people in the state right now, what team are you more confident in down 2-1?
You know what?
The Avs or the Nuggets?
You know what's funny, too, is like the confidence-o-meter of the Nuggets and Avs over the past few weeks have been like, up and down,
it's
up
gone
and
back
down.
and forth and back and forth.
I believe in the Avs have a better chance the next day. No, the Nuggets have a better chance.
For the shared fandom, it has gone back and forth with every win and every loss. And I suppose that's what fandom is living and dying with wins and losses. Objectively, it's probably the Avs.
Well, they're the more complete team. Like, the Nuggets bench still scares everybody, but both teams, one has Jokic and Murray, and that starting five is great. The other has McKinnon and Makar, and Nichushkin has elevated so much. Man, if Mikko could get back, it'd be huge because he can play at that level. I think the Avs are a little deeper.
I'd be shocked if both of them are out in round 2.
Oh, I would be shocked if both of them are out, yes. I still think they both advance. I could be wrong. I would be shocked for sure if they both bow out.
All right, let's take a look at the other game today. The Carolina Hurricanes facing a 3-0 series deficit at home. Hand the Rangers their first playoff loss of the season. They get a 4-3 regulation win over New York today. They get a late power play goal from Brady Shea, scores against his old team. Scoring got started early with Evgeny Kuznetsov, who blew the roof off of a shot on an even man break, 1 minute and 51 seconds into this thing. Sebastian Aho had a one-timer in front of the net that put Carolina up 3-1 after one period, but Barclay Goodrow net front on a tip after a Braden Schneider shot, 3-2 halfway through the second. Alexis Lafreniere scores his 4th of the postseason, banking one off the back of Freddie Anderson and into the net to tie this thing at 3, but a power play goal with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in that game, 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go in that game is the difference. Carolina staves off elimination for another day, but this thing goes back to New York in 2 days' time.
Man, Carolina, I mean, they obviously needed that one. It was an elimination game, but they
sure did.
But they needed it in the sense of just like they've been close in all these games. They've largely had better numbers in these games. They just needed to get a good feeling. Obviously, they needed it or their season would have been over. Man, Alexis Lafreniere, though.
Let's turn it on, man. Turn it on. Number 1 pick. All right, we got a couple of games tomorrow, spring. The Vancouver Canucks against the Edmonton Oilers is the late game. The early game, the Panthers currently with a 2-1 series lead going into Game 4 against the Boston Bruins. Carolina, big favorites on the road at -150. You don't typically see that in the playoffs, -155, depending on where you get the book. Bruins +130 to tie this thing up in 2. Oilers are -205, home favorites against the Canucks, as that series is tied at 1 game apiece. This is the first game back at, what is that? Is that Rogers Place or Rogers Arena in Edmonton? I think it's Rogers Place.
Rogers Center, Rogers
Centre
Place,
with
Rogers
Centre.
Yes.
I was asked tonight by Nate Kreckman to figure out why Cale Makar's jersey tuck is so much different than someone else's. I figured after a 4-1 loss, not really the time or place to ask Cale about his jersey preferences.
Yeah, you want to do that after a win.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'll venture to find out at a different point in time.
Let's see. So my Panthers pick was correct in the last Bet the Pipes. I'd said, my lean would be Oilers in the second game. I had them in Game 1, but the Oilers, I felt like they should have, they could do. They'll probably do it in Game 2, but the Oilers scare the crap out of me because they oil, and they also scare the crap out of me tomorrow, even though they are -200. This screams of like a series that like is gonna go 7 in a wonky way with like the Oilers eking it out or something like that. I'll go back to the Panthers. Puck line for value, sure. Money line with the parlay elsewhere in sports. It's a Sunday in sports. Could the Rockies sweep the Rangers? Parlay the Panthers with the Rockies.
Imagine the Rockies sweeping the World Series champs.
I'm going to parlay the Panthers with the Rockies.
I had Paul Skeens today, over 6.5 strikeouts. That was nice. All right, my pick for tomorrow. I'm not picking any sides tomorrow. Leon Draisaitl to score a goal anytime, +105. Give me Draisaitl to find the score sheet in the Edmonton and Vancouver game. That's all I'm touching from the 2 hockey games tomorrow. The only other thing that I'm sniffing at is the Wells Fargo Championship. I think I got Rory McIlroy coming out on top.
Well, what's the leaderboard look like there? I saw like Schauffele had a 4-stroke lead over Rory early in the day.
Early in the day, yes, but Schauffele currently holds a 1-stroke lead going into Sunday. So McIlroy and Schauffele will be your final pairing at Quail Hollow in North Carolina. It's going to be a wonderful Wells Fargo end on a Mother's Day. So I've got Rory taking that thing to the bank. That's going to do it for us. Until we see you guys on Monday, around a 10:30 or 11 p.m. start to Between the Pipes. That's going to do it. For Mark Springer, for Jordan Berg, I'm Alex Ryanemi. Avs fall, Game 4 on Monday night. Again, Reminder, join us Wednesday night for Game 5 as we have a viewing party in Westminster at Hofbrau, thanks to our friends at Templeton Fortitude Bourbon. Spring and I are going to be up there. Mark Bertinoli, live broadcast, live between the pipes, signed Avs gear to give away. Put it in your calendars. Wednesday night, watch party, starting at 5 p.m., Hofbrau in Westminster. We'll see you there.
What do you know about a blown fuse?
Nothing. Less than nothing?
So if I told you that blown fuse in your home cuts off power, what would you do?
Probably go to my safe space.
Well, here's a better idea. Genesis 1-3 Electric. Fully licensed, insured, drug tested, and background checked. This locally owned and operated company is